So, I know I've got some explaining to do. It was an accident. I slipped and fell with a sander and I painted it, right? Something like that. I wasn't happy with the way this thing looked. It buffed out okay. It was going to look presentable. The patina was neat, but it had been painted before in its life, and it just, I don't know, like I just wasn't happy with it. And I had a little extra time and decided to paint it. So I'll show you what it is and show you what I used. So this is what we call Artisan Blue. It's the light blue metallic that came on these trucks. It's just such a beautiful color. And I don't have all the paint lights and stuff on right now, but you can just see it's pretty slick. Turned out a little nicer than I intended. But yeah, it happens like that sometimes. So here's the lineup of everything I used. We did multiple coats of finish sand, Evercoat product. Great stuff. Great build, polyester primer. It's awesome. I use it on everything. So a couple coats of that. Slicked it down pretty good. I use, let's see if I got it sitting here. Oh, that's not it. Oh, looks like I may have used it all. The sealer I used was PPG K36. Beautiful sealer, lays down really well. On top of that, came with Deltron DBC. In case any of y'all wondering, brand code 15666. Light Harbor Blue is what they call it. Great base coat from PPG. Southern Auto Color down the street. Been dealing with those guys forever. They hooked me up with that, and I love the stuff. And for everything, we use just regular old 1370 urethane reducer. And I finished it off with 3 coats of Acme Finish 1. It's just a good, medium, solid, clear. I mean, I use it for everything, but it'll really, really have a nice gloss if you just cut it correctly. Put 3 coats, cut it 800 soft block, 1500 soft block, 2 passes with a buffer. Is beautiful. For the inside here, I don't remember if we went over this, but just to recap, we use this right here. Chassis Saver, antique satin black, great stuff. Goes directly over metal, directly over rust. Obviously you wire brush it first, but it just holds everything down super duper hard when it dries, and it works great. So put that down over the entire floor and then seam sealed it. On top of the seam sealer, we're going with Matte 66. It's a knockoff of Dynamat everyone knows. It's the same thickness, it's the same texture, it's a third of the price. So that's what we're using. It's real simple. It's just stick it on and roll it out, and we'll show you how to do that. All right. Show us how to do it.
So simple, an intern can do it.
Yeah. So this is my superstar intern, Kaylee. Hi. It's her first time doing it, but she's got it figured out.
Okay.
So
simple, an intern can do it.
Yeah, you just peel the backing off. Make sure the OCD kicks in where all the eagles are pointing the right direction.
And then you just match it up with edges.
Yep, just match it up with the edge.
And stick it down and roll it out.
Stick it down and roll it out. Here, let me give you the roller.
Wobbly wobbly.
Yeah, you just start with the contours, start around the edges, work your way across so you don't create any huge air bubbles. Anywhere that it overlaps or anything, you can just trim it with a box cutter. It's super simple. Ta-da! And there you go. You just have to do that about 147 times. Comes in these little sheets. You know, you just keep laying them out, cut them to fit as you have little spaces, and there you go. Have a nice sound deadened floor. All right, as for the Firewall, we use the same process we used on the rest of the truck. The same body filler, the same primer, the same sealer, but we didn't want this to be shiny. As you probably see by the rest of the Firewall, it's just not. It's just kind of a satin. I want it to kind of look like that. So what we did is put our regular sealer on it, and we used Sim Trim Black. Now, I ran out of the stuff. It's in a actual quart. Mix it up, spray it. I'm out of that. But to give you an idea, this is the aerosol version. Just Sim Trim Black. This is the truth. I'm telling you guys, if you've never used this stuff, it's awesome. It just absolutely blends into everything. Sprays so well. A couple little tricks. If you're using the aerosol, warm the can up first to create a little pressure, and it helps to disperse it a little bit. And if you're using it out of a can, you literally just stir it up and spray it out of any HVLP gun, and it works fantastic, as you can see. So this is what I'm going to use. Raptor liner. Been around for a while, works great. I put it in a bunch of different stuff. It's a 2-part DIY. I think you can roll it on. I think they have a roll-on version. I'm going to do the spray on. Comes with its own gun. It's like a siphon style gun. I'll show you when I get it all together and everything. But this stuff looks great. It's got a smoother version than like your typical Line-X or Rhino. And it's got a better sheen to it. You'll see when I'm done. It's a great look. Here you can tell we got everything taped up. Everything, you don't want any overspray on the fresh paint. So you just tape up all the edges, and just wherever you tape up is exactly where the line's going to be. So just be mindful of that. Yeah, so this stuff will go directly over metal. Not a big deal. I'll go directly over that bodywork over there. No reason to prime it because this stuff's so thick you'll never be able to tell. If it still had a window in it, we would tape up that center section, but all that glass and everything's out of there. So whatever blows down in there will just be a little extra sound and weather protection. So no big deal. Yeah, there we go. Let's get spraying. So we got the first coat on. Everything looks good. The first coat is more really about just getting it covered, making sure you have all your edges and your spots. They recommend a 60-minute flash time. So once about an hour goes by, we'll go back and put the second one on. Very crucial to make sure we get it even as possible. You probably saw me cut the bed halfway and just kind of hop around and stuff because the first coat doesn't matter. As far as the consistency, the second coat very much so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the side panels and the wheel wells, then work my way on the center of the bed floor because obviously that's the biggest, largest focal point. Just making sure I keep track of all my edges and everything and make sure it all looks good. So here we go. And here's the somewhat finished product of the back. The bed liner turned out great. You see how even the second coat looked. Now this is only maybe about 20-30 minutes after I sprayed it. I went ahead and untaped it. One, because the paint was fresh. Two, because it's late and I want to go home. So it gives you a great idea of what it's going to look like. It's just got such a cool texture to it. I love this stuff, especially for the $1. On Amazon, currently, don't quote me, in the $120, $140 mark price range, it's hard to beat. That gives you a little inspiration. And for today, that's that. Hope this video gives you a little bit of inspiration. Gives you some ideas, some different products to use. This is what I use on all of my classics. And some of the stuff I use on my collision repair projects. My daily grind stuff. So, it's great. This isn't the only stuff you can use. This isn't the only way you can do it. It's just the way I do it. It works real well for me. And I'm just, passing the knowledge along. But for tonight, that's it. Got a lot done. Didn't show you, we undercoated the bottom of the chassis. We don't have great light, we don't have great cameras, so you can imagine what undercoating on the bottom of the chassis looks like. Pressure washed it really well first with acid, purple power, and multiple stages. Crawled all under it, got soaking wet. You know the deal. So the bottom's done, the body's painted, bed lined, sound deadening. We're getting close. We're getting to the point that's really fun because now we're done taking stuff off of it. It's time to start putting things on it. And that's where it just really gets exciting for me. You see all the fresh trim, tail light lenses are new and crisp, new hardware, carpet. Like it really starts coming together after this point. So this is great motivation. This has been a really good week of tinkering with it, my off time, spare time. Well, like that's really a thing. But yeah, so next video, we're going to take a little field trip. You'll probably see that sooner than later. Going to do a fuel system video here pretty soon. It's going to be pretty neat. We're going to start ticking away at stuff. Some wiring, some fuel, some whatever. We'll walk you through it. But I appreciate you sticking around if you have stuck around this long. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. You know the whole deal. It helps me help you. So until next time, see ya.